Alright, let's review another Super NES game, and it's Pilotwings. It was one of the launch titles for the system. Alright, let's put the game in and give it a go. Pilotwings is a flight simulator game. When you start the game, you'll see a flight club advertisement, and you are greeted with Tony, who is an instructor for Area 1. The game has 4 types, so we're going to start off with Light Plane. In Light Plane, you gotta follow the green path. The only problem is the controls, where you have to hold left and right to know where you're turning. Same goes for up and down. But don't hold too much, cause otherwise this will happen. Anyway, another annoying thing is that during the game, when you're doing this, you'll see a sign that says rate of descent. Too great. But another bad thing is where you have to stop the plane. But the only thing that annoys me is where you have to start the plane. Now, while you do get it to start, you also gotta get it in the air, because if you don't, then it will ride into the water. And that would be a waste. There's also a different one, where you have to fly through rings. It can get sometimes tricky due to the controls. Watch what I do. That's the whole point. You just gotta fly through rings. Now, once you complete this, it will show you the points you earned it. Try to do good in this lesson, because if you mess up, then you're gonna have to do this all over again. Thankfully, the game has unlimited continues, and if you earn enough points, you will get a license and a password screen. Now let's get on to the next section, Sky. Okay, this one has rings, like the plane one, but you're falling. This one is slightly harder than the plane one, mostly because of the controls. And to add a funny note, when holding up or down, your character will be doing flips. I'm not joking. Now, try not to miss any rings, because it will give you a lower score if you do. Okay, when you're about to hit the ground, you gotta press the A button to use the parachute. Now, try to land on the green area, because if you land somewhere else, then you are rewarded with no points. Same goes if you fall into the water. This next one is the jetpack, which is a cool one, because you're basically flying, but with a jetpack. And unlike the other two, the controls are much smoother. And holding A will make you fly, and releasing it will make you fall. You still have to fly through rings though, but it's somewhat easier, but you still gotta watch for the time though. But you gotta get through all the rings, because if you land, then you will lose 2 points. Once you get all through, land on the target area. Here's a cool one. You can change angles during gameplay. I'm not joking. See for yourself. Oh, and one more thing. Try not to goof off. The last one is where you're gliding. It's basically similar to the plane, but you're gliding instead of riding on a plane. Once again, going through rings. And there's also wind in this one. But once you get all through the rings, land. But make sure you land in decent timing, because landing somewhere else will give you no points. But landing on the water will blow your chance of being qualified to the next lesson. What you also notice is that you don't get the same instructor as with lesson 1. You get different ones after you qualify. After you receive the gold license, you will find out that Tony, Lance, and Shirley has been captured by the evil syndicate. And you got to rescue them and infiltrate the airspace. Just to add a note that this one is the hardest. Because if you get shot once, you gotta do it all over again. But if you do complete it, Then you are presented with Expert Mode, which takes place in the evening. And the challenges are more harder. Just to conclude that Pilotwings is a good game, despite the controls, but nonetheless, it's pretty good. So that's it, and I'll see you in the next review.